Hi, I'm Charles. I own and direct Kaleidoscope Rock Academy and Kaleidoscope School of Music here in the Seattle area. And this is part of a series of videos I've made looking at my fleet of Gogan guitars. This is actually the acoustic Gogan guitar I bought first. This is a MultiAc Nylon Encore. And it is a electric acoustic or acoustic electric classical guitar, Nylon-String, very thin body. Other than these little tiny holes right here, no sound hole. So the concept is this is really meant to be played as a plugged-in instrument, but I'm going to show you what it sounds like without being plugged in, and also what it sounds like through a couple different amp options here. If you want to check out my other Gogan videos, they are linked in the description below. I made one reviewing the Gogan A6 steel string acoustic. I've got one coming soon on my 12-string and my 11-string Inuk. And I also did an overview of all my acoustic guitars in the video I made last summer of 2020. But let's take a look at this one. So I showed you the thickness. It's got the really easy access battery pack here in the back. I'm going to turn the volume down for a second so that we can hear it just acoustically first. I've got light tension strings on this right now, being that I am a rock player. That makes it feel more playable to me. It was kind of weird the first time I went to replace the strings on this after I bought it in 2015. I was like, wait, where are the gauges? It's very different ordering classical strings than your typical steel strings, so I eventually figured out that from talking to Gogan directly actually what some of the options were, and I went with these Diodario light tension strings. It has the same kind of width of neck top to bottom that most nylons have. Prior to playing this guitar, I'm not sure I ever had played any nylon string acoustic electrics. In the early 90s, which is kind of the height of my personal study of classical guitar, because I'm really more of a rock and jazz guitarist. For me, being that I'm coming from the rock background, this guitar is nice to hold, close to the body, easy to play, and that was important to me. I actually saw this guitar on a trip back east to a music store where I played in their band program as a teenager, Taylor's Music in Westchester, Philadelphia area, and I saw this guitar. And I, because I owned one Gogan at the time, which was an electric Telecaster, I think I'll just play that. And they had it right next to my Loudbox Mini amplifier, and the combination of the two is probably part of what sold me on this instrument, and it began my process of getting 4 more acoustic Gogans. But here's what it sounds like when you go have it plugged in. It's obviously not the way it's meant to sound. It certainly doesn't sound much like a good classical acoustic. So let's try it first through. I have a 1000-watt JBL EON 610 speaker here that's part of the main that I use for my rock band program. We've got various controls here. The top one, like most Gogan guitars, that's your volume slider. So I just turned that up. This is about halfway. Playing it through the speaker, it's totally dry right now, no reverb, no effects, no EQ on the speaker, but we do have a 3-band EQ on the guitar here. Top slider is treble, middle is mid-range, bottom is bass, and I've got it in the traditional kind of like starting point, which is shape of a seagull. So a little bit higher in treble and bass. I've had some issues with making sure that the bass strings don't sound muddy on this guitar. Right now it's pretty good, but it seems like through certain systems or amps, it can get muddy quickly. And then this bottom slider, I assumed it was like a piezo microphone blend. I actually didn't look that up until today. It's not a slider that you have on every acoustic guitar, but it is on this one, made by this company. So I actually looked up what exactly it does, and towards the bridge, I'm going to read this to you, it is using the under-saddle transducer, which is presumably is back here in the bridge area. And then if you slide it towards the neck, it's the acoustic sound table sensors. Don't really know what that means, but I'll show you what those two sounds sound like. So this is all the way to the bridge. all the way the other way. It's hard to describe the difference. That one almost feels like sitting this close to the speaker, like it's kind of getting feedbacky. So I don't know if that system that they were describing there is more microphonic or microphone-like. In the middle, we get this. I think to me it sounds like it's trying to make it more acoustic, naturally acoustic when you're running it in the neck position on that slider. Let's go back to the bridge for a second. To me, it just sounds like cleaner and more straightforward. So in a rock band situation, I might go that route, especially if the other one seems to be getting a little bit feedback prone. I'm gonna play a few more types of things on the JBL speaker here so you hear what it sounds like. Queensryche for you. If you're doing some finger style kind of jazzy stuff. Change the EQ a little bit. I'm going to make the mids a little bit higher, pull out a little bit of the bass. Let's switch it on over to the Fishman Mini Loudbox because I like that better. It gives me that option of having reverb, big deal. Okay, so now I've got it plugged in to the Loudbox Mini. I keep reversing that. Sorry, it's Loudbox Mini. That's what it says on it, not Mini Loudbox. So a little bit of reverb I think always is nice. Of course, that's one of the advantages of having a electric nylon string is you can do your own reverbing. It's kind of relying on either the room you're in or the production after the fact. With a lot of my Gogan guitars, playing them straight through the JBL dry sounds fine, but there's something about the nylon string where the reverb and the character of this Fishman amp really help kind of soften, get rid of a little bit of the rasp. So that right there tells you this is not really your typical nylon string guitar. It benefits more from being truly amplified. However, what I found with all these guitars is that an acoustic amp is really a different animal than an electric amp. A lot of students just try to start plugging these things into the same amp they're plugging their electric into at the shows, and I'm like, no, it's got to go through the acoustic line. You have a lot of control here because you've got a 3-band EQ on the amp, you've got a 3-band EQ on the guitar, you've got the blend here again. That's going back to the blend being in the middle. I don't know, I'm kind of a fan more of the, mostly the under saddle approach. Let's put some chorus on the amp, see what that sounds like. Not traditional nylon string sound, but kind of sounds cool for like your pop Latin kind of jazz stuff. That might be a bit much. let me play a couple more things. My main approach to having a nylon string, I'm not a classical guitarist, so my main goal in having these Gogan guitars is having something that works for me as a person with electric guitar predilection, something that would enable me to copy parts of famous rock songs that have nylon string elements to them, like the Queensryche song Silent Lucidity that I played earlier, or something like this. Unforgiven by Metallica. Well, like the Trees by Rush, that would be awesome to do on this. It sounds nice playing. If I could play it. I just failed my Wings World test, right? So I feel like this guitar definitely satisfies my nylon needs as a rock performer, as a director of a rock band program for kids, doing cover music of all eras. It's really great when you are working with students who are learning more traditional reading or classical stuff. It's great to be able to pop this out instead of teaching on electric 6-string like I have for a couple of decades before I bought this. It just feels great, even if you're not a classical purist, to pull out your nylon string when you're playing songs. That's a song that is super well known in romance, and I've taught it to people who are otherwise, not really into classical music, but when they hear something like that, or classical gas, that's another one, it's nice to have a nylon string to demonstrate that on. It's nice to have a nylon string that's comfortable to hold to play it on. So, like all my Gogan acoustics, I'm a really big fan of this guitar. It actually started that love affair. I now own 7 Gogans total, so. So that was my introduction demo to this guitar. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you want to check out any of my other gear videos, there's a playlist on this channel. If you're interested in hearing what I have to say about a whole bunch of other equipment and things to come, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.